Your will lies deep way under the surface, and like a fire needs coal in the furnace. This is your goal that makes it all worth it. This is your why that gives you your purpose. Let's go. Thoughts can keep you down, pushing deep until you drown, or they can keep you up strong, focused on the now. Glass half full, or has it been emptied out? Well, that's all up to you and your mind. Do you doubt anything, everything, not a thing? Make my thoughts work for me, manifest what I need, what I want, what I see. I could be anything, I attract all the things that I see. I believe I'll achieve as I breathe in and out again and again. I don't doubt, I sit and I plan, and I found out that I can execute if I'm driven, if I listen, if I learn all the wisdom. Read some books, something written, watch the best, teach a system I invest. Never hidden, I ain't scared, ain't no chicken, I take dares. I'll be winning, you get back what you're giving. Find the reason that you're living, what you're good at, all your gifts and what you love. Take a risk and find out what you've been missing. Yeah. Your will lies deep way under the surface, and like a fire needs coal in the furnace. This is your goal that makes it all worth it. This is your why that gives you your purpose. Your will lies deep way under the surface, and like a fire needs coal in the furnace. This is your goal that makes it all worth it. This is your why that gives you your purpose.
Party Pals, GRC Mafia. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Party Pals. Right out of the gate, we are here to break down barriers, foster collaboration and community, working towards a more secure future for everybody. Definitely a learning and growing environment. Welcome to the Party Pal. I see 8-Bit popping in, Rothnir, Ben Tech, Ranya's in chat. We got Regine popping in. We got B-Dubs in chat too. Bam. Welcome to the Party Pals. Yeah, it's been a moment, 8-Bit. Awesome to see you here. Hopefully you took care of your whole self-hosted CSP environment. Now, we're going to go through the presentation here in a moment with Brews and Hacks. Something about math. I mean, not really my favorite subject, but hopefully, you know, I learn a thing or two from that, which is, you know, pretty probable considering. But just to go through a couple different things here. After the presentations, well, first of all, during such, we'll go through and mark any questions that you guys have. Definitely drop those in chat. If you guys would like to drop any additional resources or share your social media profiles and so forth, the best place to do that is going to be inside of our Discord server. You can go over to our live chat channel and drop links there for your social media or other resources that you want to include. And then I'll relay that to the YouTube side of things. After the presentation itself, we'll go through Q&A. We'll open up the stage and go into open discussions as well. So we'll drop a stage link for anybody who wants to come up. You do not have to turn on your video. You could just turn on your microphone only if you would like, or you guys are more than welcome to just hang out and chat, ask your questions there and so forth too. Definitely share resources throughout. Don't share anything that you don't want to be public. If you happen to do so, definitely reach out to me on Discord, LinkedIn, or contact@studygrc.org. Also, another thing is we have the badges running right now. I see a couple people cheating here. Like Cam's already on it before I even announce it. But so every single Thursday, which is our primary session, we have the GRC Mafia badge. So what you can do is you can join our Discord server. You go over to the live chat channel and you put GRC Mafia in capital letters, and then you'll get a badge next to your name. When it's successful, the bot will automatically put a little green check mark reaction to your message. And it unlocks a badge hunters channel and, you know, a couple different things there as well. So everybody is able to get that. You just attend our Thursday meetings and you can grab it there. Also, we have our giveaway that I just published. So you can go ahead and head over to our giveaway. Every single month we have a giveaway just for, you know, community benefit. Definitely looking for ideas for that. And also the badge hunters, if you guys have any ideas, let us know what you guys want to see, whether it's content itself or, you know, some of the different behind the scenes. That's like one of the big things around the badge hunters is more of the behind the scenes. Maybe you get a little bit of a heads up and so forth through that channel as well. And then also, before I transition over here, we also have the Coffee Mafia. So the Coffee Mafia is 100% free, $0, one-on-one. We don't want anything in exchange. We have 8 volunteers in total so far, and we're looking at expanding that further. You could just go to that link that's in chat there, and you can go through and schedule out a one-on-one with somebody. That could be for, getting your resume reviewed, doing a mock interview. You could go through and get assistance with road mapping for, objectives and so forth. Even if you just want to have a coffee chat with somebody, it's a great option. There's no limit to how many times you can use that. And then also it's a great way to network. And if they don't know something, then they can forward you over to somebody else who might be more knowledgeable. For an example, like PBO that you guys are probably familiar with, he goes live every single Tuesday night, and he has a huge background with the 853 and the DoD and so forth. So especially like if you ask about the 53, we're probably going to send you over to our tier 2 PBO. So bam. But yeah, definitely grab that badge and so forth. And welcome to the Party Pal. Space Tacos, ZMEF's popping in. Bam. GRC Mafia. But I'm going to go ahead and transition over here. And then, oh, thanks for doing the membership there too, ZMEF. Bam. All right. We'll be back. Oh, yeah. And then. Ooh. Restream's trying to play me dirty here. Tried to mute me right before I did the transition. Also, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and announce this for about the next month. We're not pursuing any type of paid membership or sponsorship or otherwise. What we're doing instead is we're just going to do ad rolls for other creators within the community. If you guys make content or you know somebody else who does in the space, definitely reach out. Let us know. What we're trying to do is just do the ad rolls to bring more light to other creators and other resources that are out there as well that align with our mission and objectives. So, bam.
Are you looking to break into GRC or cybersecurity or simply level up your career? Hi, I'm Brittany White, better known as B-Dubs. Discover insights and actionable advice at brewhite.io, where I drop a GRC-related article every Monday morning with a video read-along from my YouTube channel. Visit brewhite.io today to explore articles to empower your hacker mindset in GRC, and sign up for my free newsletter to receive them straight to your inbox. Are you worried about cyber threats but don't have an enterprise budget? I also work with small and medium-sized businesses, bringing them practical, affordable cybersecurity solutions so they can focus on and exceed in their mission. Visit meet.brewhite.io today to learn more and schedule a free consultation.
Do you love cybersecurity and GRC? Do you like analogies stretched further than my hairline? Then do I have a channel for you. Hi, my name is Cameron, also known as Cam, and I want to invite you to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Cam Goddess, where I dive into various topics, frameworks, terms, and foundational knowledge within the broad categories of cybersecurity and GRC. I'm passionate about these things and about taking complex concepts and making them more easily understandable, more easily defined. Everyone is a nerd about something, so come, nerd, learn, and grow with me.
Bam. Yeah, Cam did an amazing job with that. And welcome to the Party Pal, Brews and Hacks.
Kia ora GRC Mafia. Thank you so much for having me.
Bam. Yeah, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you and try not falling asleep for the math portions.
That's okay, because luckily, spoiler, there is no math.
Oh, God. And to think, I almost called in sick today.
Glad you didn't. Glad you're here.
Right.
So any other housekeeping, or am I good to just jump into it?
Nope, you're good to go. Just drop your guys' questions in the chat. We'll be watching that, and GRC Mafia.
Yeah. Sorry, B-dubs. No math. But yeah, so what if math was never really about math? Kind of sounds like clickbait, right? It is. It is clickbait. But what sparked this idea, this thought-provoking idea during a sleepless night just a few months before my son was born, anxiety was keeping me awake, and I was just thinking about whatever I could to stop from having a panic attack. Just a few housekeeping items for my talk. I did just mention anxiety and panic attacks. This talk is not about mental health, but I want to take a minute to mention that your mental health matters. It matters to me too. So if you are experiencing anxiety, imposter syndrome, uh, any of these things, I do genuinely hope and pray that you seek and find whatever professional help that you need, as I did. And if there's anything I can do to help, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact info will be in and out whenever Chris and B-Dubs throw it in. But most of you know me on Discord, so you know how to get a hold of me there. Also, just as a blanket disclaimer for any impressionable students that will be stumbling across this free to everybody YouTube video, math really is about math and you need to know it. So don't use this video as an excuse as to why you didn't get your homework done. And finally, last housekeeping item. I know it's not on here, but I know that my camera is not super crispy. I can't use my nice camera for live streams. It has to be a recording only. So, but at least my audio is good, I'm told. So, like I said, I was having a sleepless night, sleep deprived, and I had that thought, what if math was never really about math? So, what was I reminiscing on that made me think about this? Well, first, I had remembered back to grade school when everybody I knew fell into basically one of three camps when it comes to math. Camp number one, the math nerds, the B-Dubs camp, if you will, who loved math and craved more. Camp number two, the frustrated students. So they struggled, and usually that struggle that they had with math not coming easily to them manifested in, lashing out against the teacher in some way. And then camp number three, the indifferent ones like me. We saw math as just another thing that you had to do. So which camp were you? Let us know in chat. Let us know in the comments if you're on Team Replay, hashtag Team Replay. That's usually me. Okay, so I fell into the third camp until my first bout at college. My first attempt at college, I dropped out because, no, I'm just kidding. This isn't why, but I did fail a math exam, which is crazy because if I've ever failed a math exam, I didn't remember any time, so it probably wasn't important. So that's just not something that I do. And I mean, that's also no big deal, right? Like, I'll do better, but it became a big deal because the answers were on the board and I noticed that I got enough correct that I should have had at least a passing grade. So when I confronted the teacher about this, he said, well, you didn't show any of your work. So I fell into camp number two, and that's, I hated math. But so if we think about math and take the numbers out of the equation, what did we learn in math class? Well, I propose that we learned about patience, logic, and communication. Got a dry mouth. Yes, B-Dub says you got to show your work. Yes. Patience, logic, and communication. And if IT and tech and cybersecurity didn't have enough abbreviations, I'm going to give you another. We can call this PLC from here forward for this presentation. So patience, just as an example, in my first cybersecurity role, I learned to take my time to understand problems and identify all the variables. Nothing came easy, and I had to be patient with myself as I navigated the new challenges. Logic, math teaches us critical thinking and different methodologies to reach solutions. You can reach the same answer in different ways using different tools in cybersecurity. So we often face complex problems that require logical approaches to find effective and efficient solutions. In communication, tailoring messages to your audience is crucial. So my experience in retail and social work prior to my cybersecurity career gave me a leg up in simplifying complex concepts for diverse audiences. Uh, that skill is invaluable in cybersecurity. So using this in practice, even if I didn't realize them in the moment, I do want to share some quick examples from my cybersecurity experience, and where the sleep deprived epiphany affected my work in an impactful way. So, for my very first project, as soon as I broke into the industry, I was tasked with mapping controls from the NIST SP 800-53. I didn't see if PBO is in chat. Shout out to PBO. To our standard operating procedure. So, where did these PLC skills come into play? Well, patience. I repeatedly reviewed back and forth over and over again the SOP and the controls to become more familiar with both. I was aware that both existed, but I didn't really know too much details about either. And I took the time to identify all the variables, even though there was no way I was going to remember all the individual details. But for logic, I developed a methodology to tackle the mapping process systematically. So, what was my methodology? Well, I had a shorthand, a shortcut way for myself to remember what all the main control groups were for the 853. And as I was going through each individual procedure that's listed in the SOP, I was taking notes. Okay, well, this could hit that family. This could hit that family, and then go back later and find the actual control numbers that that procedure was effectively hardening with. And communication, how most of this presentation will be talking about communication in the form of documentation, but the documentation was already done in this case. So when I ran into roadblocks on my understanding of any procedures or what they were doing, I presented my questions masterfully. I'm going to put that in quotes because it's not my word, it's somebody else's word when they've they knew what was going on at the time. But so I would come to my team lead with my question saying, this is the part of the procedure I don't understand. These are the things that I've looked up trying to understand it. So I'm still confused about this specific nuance in that procedure. And I wanted to put that out there because I think that taking the initiative and consistently doing so, I still do this whenever I have a question. I think that also had a lot to do with a lot of my early success. So now I was the SOP expert. And in this effort, while I was asking my team lead questions, he noticed that they noticed that they had several grammatical errors and areas where the procedures weren't lined out clearly. So they issued an open invitation to the entire team to improve our SOP. Well, I took this opportunity to seriously ask myself, who is the intended audience for this documentation? If it was newcomers like me and 5 other people on this team, then I had a special perspective on improving the SOP to make it more approachable, right? So this perspective guided my revisions, ensuring that the SOP was accessible and understandable for everyone. And I focused on making it clear so that anyone would use it regardless of their background. And documentation isn't for everyone, Flakinator, but I think that everyone, at least on this channel, Study GRC, can agree that having documentation being clear and straightforward and approachable is crucial in a GRC context. So sorry, I was reading the chat. So improving the STIG artifact collection. So we conducted quarterly STIG checks. That's probably overkill for IIS and Microsoft SQL Server. And at first, I often found myself confused about certain requirements. And I would take my questions to my peers who had similar experience as I did in cybersecurity. And they also had no idea what it was. So, sorry, for those not familiar with STIGs. So you've got your check text. That was pretty straightforward. But the evidence that you're looking for the artifact to show that it is not a finding, that was a little nuanced to me. And I wasn't really sure what we were looking for. And neither were my peers. So instead of staying silent, I approached my team lead and I asked for clarification. And this led to another impactful project. So I got to document our process and ensure that anyone, regardless of experience, could follow along with the STIG checks. And this proactive approach not only solidified me as the documentation guy, but now I was the STIG guy too. So, but that is a good thing because it fostered a culture of communication within the team. My peers knew that they could come to me asking for help, and they openly did. And our team was made up of our team lead, 2 senior staff members, and then the 6 of us new green folk. And even the senior staff members came to me about STIG questions because they were networking and database background. They weren't security background. So it was a really interesting dynamic that I had even early on in my career. So during that effort, while we were improving the STIG artifact collection, we encountered a reoccurring issue that wasn't being resolved by our patch cycle. Knowing that myself and 2 other junior staff members were focused on a cybersecurity career long-term, we were voluntold to investigate this situation. So what we discovered was that a patch caused a misconfiguration in our servers that was missed, so it needed to be addressed. Can't go into details, obviously, but so what do? I do have to back up a little bit. I don't want to give the wrong idea that this was an immature information security environment. It wasn't. It was a mature information security environment. The way it was set up was that the Security Operations Center did not concern themselves with the IIS and Microsoft SQL Server vulnerabilities or STIGs. That was our responsibility on our team. So up until this point, for the senior staff members and for the team lead, any vulnerabilities coming on the weekly vulnerability scan were always covered by the upcoming patch cycle. And now we've run into the situation where for 2 patch cycles in a row, it wasn't taken care of. So it was up to us 3, myself and the other 2 newbies that wanted to be in security, to create and document and implement this new process. It wasn't anything special for those in the know of vulnerability management. For those who don't, it was a simple process. It had to be quarterly. So quarter 1, identify the vulnerabilities and research the mitigations. We already knew the vulnerabilities, we just needed to research the mitigations. Quarter number 2, implement and observe the mitigations in the test environment because you can't stop production. And then quarter number 3, assuming everything went well, implement in the production environment. If it didn't go well, try again. And I made it clear in the documentation that this is a cycle, that it's totally possible that if you are implementing in production in a quarter 3, you may simultaneously on another wave be implementing and observing in test. Pretty straightforward and regular, but there was nothing set in place on this team. So that was an interesting experience to have early on in my career as well. I could go on with that first experience job-wise, but the time came that I needed to move on to a different team that was much smaller. And working in a small contracting team was challenging and rewarding. I often had to figure things out independently, which definitely triggered my imposter syndrome most of the time. But I did over time learn to trust my instincts, and I have the tools now to combat that, right? So on this smaller team, um, I got a lot of other really cool experiences that I need to continue to be patient with, and here's why. I contributed to an important blog post on the client's website, and I also researched to update a lot of old entries in a public-facing database. So I wasn't credited because those who are in federal contracting know that that's how federal contracting works. So that's the part where I have to be patient. But I'm still really proud. And I wish I could share the true impact without divulging too much information. But I just wanted to put that out there because I'm going through my story here. So I also took on the responsibility of updating and editing the modularity in the Python scripts. I don't consider myself a programmer. I consider myself Python literate. But in doing so, and as I was transitioning out of that role and into another role, I had to communicate complex concepts to our federal clients. So this re-sparked my love for breaking down complex things in a digestible way to non-technical audience. So that's about the time that Brews and Hacks was born, even though I didn't put any content on it until about a year later. So now, with my current role, I'm about 4 years-ish of experience, and I find myself in a mentoring role every day. My peers often come to me for guidance, and I continue to update our documentation to ensure it's user-friendly. This team wasn't meant to be an introductory role for people with no experience, but after a few months of updating the documentation, we decided to give it a try. And we do have somebody on the team that has no previous experience with IT or cybersecurity. And sure, they need a lot of help, but it's awesome. I love helping them, especially when they let me know that they have a good teacher. I'm like, oh, thanks. So yeah, it's awesome. And I don't hold a senior title, but I've become the go-to resource for my team. Like I said, peers come to me when looking for how to learn things technically, and my superiors come to me when they have an overflow of tasks that are definitely above a junior level, but they need help with them. So that is also, even though I'm not a senior on paper. So that's also an interesting dynamic and very, very cool. We can come back to the slide later during the open discussion. I didn't find a good segue for it, but let's go into conclusions. So whether you're in the cybersecurity or any field, let's remember the true skills that we learned in math: patience, logic, and communication, because these are essential. Patience, understand the problems fully and identify all the variables. Math, we needed to figure out how to get from A to M and all the variables in between that affected us getting there. Logic, learn multiple methodologies and multiple different tool sets to get to that end, and develop systematic approaches using your critical thinking to get there. And communication, document thoroughly and adapt to different audiences. So these are essential, and they can help you navigate challenges and communicate effectively with your audience. If there is only one thing that you take away from this talk, please let it be that you need to develop and hone in communication skills to take complex concepts down to or up to a level that you're meeting the audience where they are. It is so important. So finally, if math was never really about math, then what was math about? It's about showing your work. And in my recent reflection on my early career path, I owe a lot of my success to that idea of the math was never about math. It was about showing your work. It was about being patient, using logic, and communicating effectively. So please think about how you can use PLC and how it's shaped your journey so far. And stay in touch and let me know either soon or in the far future if this talk has meant anything to you, or if it comes up to your mind later or it changes something that you do. I would love to know about it, so please let me know. And more so, I've got a blood orange IPA that I'd love to crack open, and we can hop into the open discussion. So thank you so much for your time if you've made it this far, and I'm looking forward to hearing everybody's thoughts and questions. Thanks.
Wow. So you bait everybody in about math, and then you personally attack me about patience and logic and so forth.
Yes.
And here we are. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you happened to develop a white paper on this yet? Because I feel like it's a little groundbreaking.
Really? Are you
it's
just busting my
No, I'm
chops?
being completely serious. No, I'm being completely serious.
Oh, nice. No white papers. I just
Not yet.
I wasn't sure what to talk about, so I was reflecting on, because I know that I'm exceptionally in a good spot as compared to other people that I graduated with, because I graduated, when I went back to school for my associates. So I was reflecting on, how I got where I am, and yeah.
No, I mean, once throughout the presentation, not only did you add a bunch of personal detail there and real world example, but I mean, it makes sense. I mean, when you explain math differently that way, I'm still not looking forward to math classes and so forth.
Right.
But I could see where you're coming from with it, at least. Actually showing your work with it, using the logic and problem solving skills that you developed from it. It's almost like, like if you do word puzzles or, Zuyuki or whatever it is, like training your mind, I guess. Is that kind of what it kind of seems like?
Yeah, definitely.
Rosnier asked, what did you do before getting into cyber?
Lots of things. I'm going to swap over to this because it's going to be easier for me to hear you.
Yeah, no worries.
Give me 1 second. I will answer your question, Dave. Sorry. I hope it's okay to use your government name on here.
Oh, gosh. Doxed. Yeah, Brews and Hacks has been everywhere, man. I'm just going to fill this in for a moment. If you guys haven't already, definitely go through and grab your weekly badge. That gives you access to the badge channel. And then also, we want to know what you guys want to see in there, too. So it was originally developed just for everybody who is able to attend the weekly meetings. And then you get access to 2 different channels. One for the badge hunters, which it was really focused towards like maybe just a little bit of a heads up or some behind the scenes and so forth. And then also a Golden Finds channel as well. Yep, go ahead. You got it running yet?
Yeah, is my audio okay still?
Yeah, it still works.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
Rosnier
good.
said that's completely unreasonable to dox
Oh.
him like that.
Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. So before cyber, I had several different careers. So I guess I wouldn't consider anything until I got out of high school as a career. So my first career, I would say, would be restaurants. I did service and I bartended for several years. The part that I liked about bartending was the talking to people, and I did good with like upselling different food items. So my next career was mobile sales because I also like technology. So I would consider that as my first IT career, because we didn't need to know how wireless signal worked or anything about the OSI model or any of that to sell, but I chose to learn it because being able to coach my customers made me a better salesperson, made them like me more. I was able to troubleshoot their problems, and it definitely got me more sales because they would recommend me to friends and family. So that was sales. And then I got burnt out on sales. so so I decided that I did want to go back for cybersecurity, and I wouldn't consider social work a career because I was working that job while I was going back to school with the intention of getting into cybersecurity. But that definitely helped my communication skills. So I was um, I was helping sign up. Um, why can't I think words right now? Incarcerated individuals that were about to be released from Maryland State Prison for Medicaid. So that was another. You got to explain complex insurance systems to a diverse audience that understands things in different ways. So yeah, and then I broke in an industry during my final semester.
And then addicted.
Yes, definitely.
Well, and then there's a couple other ones here too. So when did you start to realize that things you were doing weren't so much about thing as much as developing skills in documentation, evidence collections, proving math terms? I think the math word in there is what screwed that whole thing up for me.
No, I get it. Thanks, Josh. Wow, that's an interesting question because it was not in the moment, and the vulnerability management side of that experience, I didn't like vulnerability management at the time. First time in forever. Sorry. Okay. I don't know. But yeah, so I didn't think that I liked vulnerability management in the moment, and now like that's what I'm thinking I want to specialize in. So yeah, I would say it was maybe around 2.5 years in, maybe 3 years in, that I started noticing that it wasn't so much about the technology and yeah, don't distract me. And it was more about the soft skills, right? The communication, the relationships, because you can learn anything.
Yeah, and then also 8-bit said at least there were no numbers. That is true.
Yeah, you're welcome. I took the numbers out of the equation.
There we go. Well, and then that also leads me into you also have your YouTube channel as well, and I think that also really overlaps on your background and so forth, because it's literally brews and hacks.
Yep,
So
I'm pouring one of my home brews right now.
That's what I was gonna say. Not only do you brew at home, but then also you hack at home, and you have a whole channel about both. So what kind of made you go after that on your channel itself? And what are you doing over there?
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT
So the
5 just released.
Oh, did it? Nice. I didn't know that. The original concept. So actually, let me back up. So, like I was saying a little bit during my presentation, I decided that I needed to have a website and get some content on it. At the time, I thought that I needed to find a new job because the contract was up, but everything turned out okay. So when I was coming up with the concept, I went to ChatGPT. We brainstormed some things. The generative AI asked me what types of things I'm interested in, hobbies wise. Well, I like pen testing and homebrewing beer, and we just kind of went down that road. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit my mic, everybody. And the original concept was going to be pen testing tutorials and homebrewing tutorials. But then when I went through the PBCC course, PBCC alumni, it was very clear that if you want to do a cybersecurity channel, you should probably keep it to just cybersecurity. So I am going to have private videos that will have links from my website whenever I get them up, with homebrewing tutorials, because there will be a homebrewing section on my site. There already is. But it's not going to be like just the general public portion videos of the channel.
Yeah, and then you're publishing, I think, 2 a month is
Yeah, that's my new cadence. Yeah.
Bam.
I had to settle for my second one last month being a short because life happened, but
Oh yeah,
hopefully I
no,
can keep up with
definitely
it.
get it.
Hopefully I can keep up with it.
For many of you guys may realize, though, August 1st was the last day for the 60 Days of GRC series. Boy, does it, like, from a creation standpoint, I hate video editing in the first place. And, I mean, we're talking 60 shorts that were about a minute a piece. The amount of time that goes into that is obscene. So
That's funny. The editing is my favorite part.
I hate it. I hate it so much. The editing
I have so much fun with it.
is the large portion I don't like. But yeah, I've gone through, especially some of your earlier videos that you've published and so forth, and you make it all fancy. What do you use for editing?
So I use Caden Live. I was grabbing B-rolls for a while from, what was it called? Clip something. But I stopped doing that. I'm just basically using Canva and Caden Live completely. And then AI for like some image generation.
Bam. And then also, where do you ultimately want to end up in cyber?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm in an interesting spot right now because I thought it was going to be red teaming and pen testing. Like specifically, I wanted to emulate threat actors and APTs. And that was the idea when I went back to college, and that was my straight and narrow path until about 2 years-ish in. And then I was like, well, I'm not really sure. And now I'm like about 4 years, and I'm like, all right, I definitely don't think it's going to be pen testing. I don't know what it's going to be. I am enjoying vulnerability management right now, and I really want to. I don't get to do a lot of the extra fun stuff in a true vulnerability management role. I'm kind of like a attack surface analyst right now, not so much like internal vulnerabilities. So I'm hoping to do something more with that in my next role. We'll see where it goes. I'm still happy with what I'm doing right now, and we still got the contract for a good while, so we'll see.
That sounds really close to like what you were just mentioning as in emulating the actual APTs. So yeah. Well, and then also it sounds like quite a bit of paperwork, because vulnerability management has that massive overlap and oftentimes does follow underneath the risk category for GRC.
Yeah, and I'm totally fine with that. Like, I just do it. I'm Camp 3 on that one too. I just get it done.
Oh gosh. Hey, some people like policy, documentation, paperwork. Come on.
Yeah, I'm
And
not
I
one
got
of them.
B-dubs hopping up here too.
Yeah, I like documentation. I am just mostly disappointed. Yeah. I'm mostly disappointed because I have my long list of math questions and it's not even about math.
I am not the one.
And then also, was there anyone along the way who didn't appreciate the amount of questions you asked?
That's funny. No, I'm like, that's like my joke when they're like, ask whatever questions you have, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna hate me. But no, everybody loves my questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I found that out too, that they actually like when you ask more questions because then they can kind of see how your brain's thinking too and be able to help you better too. So
Yeah, definitely.
the more the merrier.
Yeah, I think it's always better to ask questions than not at all. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. What was that recently? You know, vibe coding and an entire database deleted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much better to ask questions.
Yeah, and thanks for hopping into AB and everybody else too. So
Hey, thanks,
it
AB.
definitely is a little bit of a mind shift. So I'm just going to take math out of the entire. I'll just block out math out of the presentation itself.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and I had mentioned GPT-5. Yeah, AB shared that news article in the Discord server. I hadn't even skimmed the news channel yet. But yeah, apparently GPT-5 was released. I'm just going to throw it out there. I kind of think it's because Grok had published their latest and took the top charts. And so that usually is what happens, is one of the big models will publish their latest. And then a couple weeks later, the other models start publishing their latest, or their latest, I should say.
Yeah, they got to keep up with each other.
Yeah. I have not tested it or otherwise. So relatable. I ask so many questions. Now, also along with those lines, how many questions did you ask?
Me? Countless. I have no idea. A ton. I ask questions all the time. But like I said, so my first project and contract was definitely a huge asset to where I am now, because the reach was so broad, and my team lead is my mentor now. So I talk to him constantly. And yeah, he loved that I asked the questions, and he pointed out that when I asked my questions, it wasn't just like, how can you do this for me? It was more like, I'm really trying to have a deep understanding, and he could tell that I was trying to have that deep understanding. And I think that's an important thing for any role, anywhere.
Yeah, and there's a right way to phrase them too. Instead of, going to somebody and asking, hey, I need help with this, it's more of the questions of, why do we do this in the first place?
Mhm.
And not because you're trying to get out of something, but because you're just trying to understand it so that maybe you could improve it, or, whatever the case. But
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and so like I come from a labor background. So like my previous position was union, for an example, completely different mindset. It was the, try harder, figure it out on your own kind of mindset. But the vast majority of the entire information security realm is quite the opposite. Everybody pretty much agrees on the fact that it's way too broad for you to learn it all. And it's always better to ask questions than, hope for the best, or GPT, as AB probably would say. But yeah, I think, like a good strategy to go with it is, like, if you're not able to answer the question yourself, then yeah, definitely ask.
Have a good night,
Was
Space
there another one?
Tacos.
Oh yeah, no worries, Space Tacos. Thanks for tuning in.
Mhm.
Yeah, they hop in for your presentation. Now they dip. No, Space Tacos is OG. Which also reminds me, Space Tacos also has her Discord server as well that's going in chat. The GRC Audit Treasure Trove, which is an entire just personal archive. Yeah, it's an archive of GRC related topics that are categorized into different channels. It's not like a normal Discord server. It's just like a Wikipedia, basically.
Cool.
Yeah, so definitely check that out. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. What was your key takeaways, B-dubs? Or
I mean, yeah, it was a great presentation. I enjoyed the different perspective on it, and I have taught math in a public school, and they're always like, we're never going to use this in life. Why do I need to do this? And I'm like, struggling to find the answers, because you don't want to tell them that they're not going to use it, because then they won't do their homework. But the values and the lessons that math itself teaches, with the PLC, is, I don't know, it's a great way to kind of put that perspective on it, because I've seen that in my own experiences, but just having it in words in a presentation, I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Because you do need math, and you will use it, but maybe not those specific problems. You'll have bigger problems, and
I gave up on
problem
math
solving.
when it stopped being numbers.
That's my favorite, is when it's not numbers.
Well, and Brexy's also going down that same train of thought that I was trying to position there, is asking thoughtful questions. Honestly, like, that would probably be a really good talk in the future, is to actually talk about, like, how to ask questions, having good questions. It's a huge communication aspect, because yeah, like, if you can Google it, Google it. But there's a certain point, there's that fine line where you just have to ask somebody, or it's even quicker to ask somebody like, hey, what is the right way that we're supposed to do this? I don't see it in the documentation. Like I did help desk before and we had a knowledge base. If it wasn't in the knowledge base or we didn't understand that, then we contacted somebody else. So.
Yeah, is that going to be your next presentation? Bruise and Hacks?
Not me.
Oh,
Yeah.
me?
Yeah, you.
No.
Asking good
I
questions.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Next
Yeah,
presentation.
maybe I can do that. I can talk for a half an hour about asking good questions for sure.
Using math to ask good questions. I love it.
God.
Spoiler.
Let's go.
It's all math. It's
Full
all
send.
math.
I'll go ahead and schedule it tonight.
Great.
You guys don't have to ruin
Make it
every
next week.
subject for me. I asked the question because I think people sometimes don't ask questions because they don't want to come across annoying, but questions that show thought are usually not a nuisance.
So my wife jokes because I make short stories long, and I had to rewrite my presentation several times to not make short stories long, and that was part of it. Was my peers that were just as experienced as I was, they weren't speaking up and asking the questions because they didn't want to come off as annoying, but we all had the same questions, so I spoke up.
Yeah, well, and a lot of people do have that issue because they also, especially like when you start a new position, you don't want to be that guy who doesn't seem to know what he's doing or otherwise. You feel like you should be more knowledgeable. I think this closely overlaps with imposter syndrome as well.
Yes.
So
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? They say, "Oh, hey, you should have went to this resource or otherwise." Like, yeah. And especially as like a manager, like if they do come back at you in the wrong way, then maybe it's not the best place.
Yeah.
So when you have the, good faith behind it. And yes, oh snap. I was just pulling her message up. And then here she
Hey,
comes
Rania. Kia ora, how are you?
Surviving.
You what? Is your microphone working? Rania. Can you hear me now?
No, can you hear me? Oh.
It's very muted.
Yeah, it's kind of muffled. That's okay. You could just yell.
Yeah, I'm not gonna yell. It does it every time.
Yes. Much better.
And yes, Bruise and Hacks has the clicky clack keyboard. I went with like more of a silent option. I don't like the click clack.
I was
But
just
you're also
coming in
running
to
what?
say
Yeah,
that
go ahead.
I'm that person that asks the annoying questions. Week 1 of my new job, I got called into the principal's office. So don't be scared. You'll still probably keep your job in most cases unless you do something obscene.
Yeah.
Obscene?
Obscene, yeah.
Josh says math gears your brain in such a way that both shows a direction to take, but also moves you to consider choices methodology. That's really my key takeaway from your presentation is that math doesn't actually have to be numbers or the not numbers math. You're looking at it from the perspective of like problem solving and applying that to
Logic and
tasks.
reasoning.
Yep.
Yeah, which then just hurts my head a little bit more, but like I see where you're coming from with it. So yeah.
Yeah, I have a bachelor's degree in math, so I can speak to that is the best and biggest thing that I learned in all of my math classes is just the problem solving, the logic, the methodology and the way of thinking.
Yeah, and being able to adapt to different tools too. That's huge. Huge.
David B says, I have brewing and hacking questions. Wish I knew someone to ask these questions.
I do too. Who's it going to be?
Yeah, this is the perfect time. Yeah, and I'm dropping the stage link if anybody else does want to come up. Don't forget about the badges as well.
Yeah, it's hard to see in this one with the lighting right now, but this is it's a relatively clear beer for being bottled instead of kegged, so it's pretty good.
I know a few people who do brew their own and so forth. I know it's not something I ever really got into. I don't drink that often in the first place.
I've got some
So-
Nigori sake here too.
Don't
That
even
I
know what that
brewed.
is.
I'd get on the
Nigori
sake.
Yeah, Nigori is so the good clear stuff is in the closet still aging. Nigori is like a lot of rice particles dropped to the bottom, so it's like the very end of it. So I always drink that first because it's like I still like it, but it's not like the coveted part of the sake.
Sounds
But-
dangerous.
No, it's totally fine, and it's a wine yeast, so it doesn't get higher alcohol content than wine. So
Yeah, unfiltered sake.
yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then David B is limited to 3 times speed. David B is always late, and then he goes through and speeds up the video. It actually really upsets me, people who can't. Can you do that when you go through and watch a video? Do you speed it up like 1.5 or 2 times speed?
Yeah.
It's
All
the
of
only
those
way.
in your head.
Ooh. I do 1.5 to 1.25. Yeah.
I pause videos. I can't run it at anything more than 1 time speed, and then I pause the video and go back. Like, and then all of you guys are out here like doing freaking 1.5 and more. Like,
How do you have
imagine
time
much
for that
I
in your
would
day?
save.
I mean,
Yeah.
really,
That's
the best.
problem.
The best is a conversation with PVO and Chris at 2 times speed. It's my absolute favorite.
Oh yeah.
Oh, are you talking about how GRC is responsible for AI hallucinations?
I mean, any of y'all have had lots of conversations, any of them, at 2 times speed. I think PVO is my favorite at 2 times speed because then he really sounds, extra.
Jesus, Rosnier and Brexley are also, I don't know, fast forward crew, or I don't even know what you'd call that.
I mean, are you the only one that's not?
Yes.
I'm. Well, at least Cam's closer at 1.10 and 1.15. I didn't even know that was a thing there.
That's too
And then here comes
specific.
David B to
That sounds like
Talk some more,
VLC
Brew.
player or something.
Yes, great presentation. Patience,
Thank you.
logic, and what was the third one? SARM, coercion. What's that one that starts with a C? I legitimately forgot. I ain't gonna lie. Bruce and Max.
Communication.
I've actually now. See, I was trying to mess with you. Gosh dang it! But people put the slides in there. Anyways, no. But hey, that was a great presentation. I really like it.
Thank you.
I was looking forward to some awesome different math, like how you were going to tell us that Common Core was BS or something fun like that. But I'm not saying that it's not to the teachers in the group. However, I really did like it, and that was a very great presentation. We use that every day, whether you're in GRC, whether you're a teacher, whatever you're doing. But that was, yeah, I'm gonna have to take that. I will attribute it to you, boss man, but I'm gonna have to use that at work tomorrow.
hold on. Wait. So
And definitely make it your
So-
own. For sure.
So I'm no longer allowed to turn around and say, well, I don't use math in my day-to-day life anymore.
Facts.
That
Is that what you're saying now? Because that's been my excuse.
We use math every single day.
Yeah.
I got a
You just
calculator
don't
in my
use
And
pocket.
you
numerical
code
math.
too. Yeah, you code too.
I mean, every decision that you make is based on logic. So,
which is math.
math.
And also, at least Brenda's coming in, admitting to the one-time speed.
They
I'm
limit
really
me.
jealous.
They limit me to 3.0. But luckily, he was able to speak clearly, enunciate, and didn't talk super duper fast. So it helps when you're listening 3.0 speed, because then you're like, oh, it's making sense in my brain.
That's
Oh,
good
you
to
just
know.
made a mistake.
I definitely talked faster than when I was practicing. So that's good to know that I didn't talk too fast. So thank you.
Now I know
Yeah,
how
definitely
to get
not
around,
too fast.
David's speed.
It does. Look, I'm not going to tout that it takes a while, and not everybody can do it, and not everybody can understand from it. But sometimes if it's generic enough, and I don't mean that your presentation was generic enough, but it wasn't like I didn't have to try to learn differential equations at this point in time. Then I would slow it down. But
Yeah, that would have been tough at three times, 3x.
I listened to B-dubs on her CISSP, and 2 times she hits it right. It's a good speed for her.
Hey, I mean, even
Rothner-
I listen to the study group myself at 2 times speed, so it's perfect.
Yeah, and then Rothnir over here uses a plugin that goes up to 16 times. Are you kidding me? I can't even understand language at 2 times. I could barely understand at 1.5.
Must be listening to music or something.
Double R, what are
that's-
you listening to them at? 1 time?
Oh no, 2x, whatever the fastest is, unless they already talk kind of fast, and then I might bump down to 175.
And I think this is in reference to some math thing.
Sure.
Well, do you know there's
Yeah.
there's no such thing as cold, actually. It's the absence of heat. But I don't want to get that specific with anybody. So
We're talking about
Really?
math, not
He's-
physics here. Okay.
I was gonna say.
Is he talking about sake though?
Yeah, we're still talking about
Oh,
sake.
yeah.
We've been talking about sake in chat. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I had them all 3 ways at about the same time: cold, room temp, and hot. So we're warm.
I'm
I
a
would say it
I'm a
was more
cold
warm.
sake fan.
Yeah,
I'll-
that's good.
I'll drink
this
it
this
anyway.
one, this Nigori is cold, and I've got one of the ones that are aging. I put a little bit of mango flavoring in it, so a Trappist sake, if you will. I'm interested to try it. So
I had a
Yeah, and see,
sparkling sake somewhere at a restaurant once, and it was so good. I don't even know what it is. It's been too long, but it was actually in Hawaii.
cool.
Yeah, and see, I thought that had to do with math.
Yeah, totally. Got to know how much sake you can drink.
Also, I've never even tried it before. Like the types of beers that I've had in the first place and wine, I could probably maybe less than 15 in total. So, and usually, like, I'm not one to try new things. So once I find something I like, I usually stick with it. Like Narwhal, for an example, is
Yeah, narwhal's good.
one that I particularly go out of my way to find. So
Meanwhile, I hate drinking and trying the same thing twice. I like trying new things.
I hate new things so much. Like,
I feel like life's too short for that.
My wife gives me trouble all the time because every time we go out to eat, like she's getting something different. I get the exact same thing every single time.
With
It just
food,
makes decision making so
will.
much easier.
I'll order the same food all the time. Just
chicken nuggets and fries is not a meal make.
that's not no. I'll eat like a steak but I get in a groove because I hate going to a restaurant and ordering something I expect to be good and it ends up being subpar, and then I just paid $40 to $50. Like, if I go to McDonald's, I'll try something else, or there's a limit. I think if I'm paying $30 a plate or more, I'm probably gonna order the same thing because I know it's good.
Yeah, I actually pick the restaurant based on what I order there because it's the same at every
Yeah.
place.
And it might be a different food item at the same restaurant but I'll have a different thing for each different restaurant.
We went out of town and we went to Rainbow Springs in Dunedin, Florida. And anyways, we went to some local restaurants around there, and it's on the water and all that. So one of them was called Swampies, one of them was called Stump Knockers. I was like, you got to have some fish, you got to have some gator, you got to have something, from the area. And I go with a bunch of best friends, and they get cheeseburgers. And I said, okay, well, that is, you do you. I'm not going to judge, but I'm going to get me some fish and have a good time.
I had to join in on this since you guys started talking about Japanese ingredients and stuff, since I worked with Japanese people for 8 years. And I was a sushi chef for many, many years.
That's so awesome.
Being around Japanese people, I mean, they're really great to be around socially, but working with them can be pretty difficult. But when you talk about sake, is like I was putting in there with Josh there. The traditional one, they'll have a box with a little shot glass inside, and they pour it in there overflowing.
Oh,
Best
cool.
sake, in my opinion, would be Kikasui. Usually comes in a nice blue bottle. It's a little floral, almost like jasmine. But the hot sake, though, that is usually the cheap stuff, like a shochikubai. That's usually a boxed wine. And what they'll do is they'll go through a machine that warms it up. But however, most of the time, whenever I've seen Japanese drink warm drinks, it's usually sochu. And so
Mhm.
sochu is higher alcohol content, and they'll usually put it in a glass only during the winter. I remember this one guy I used to work with. His name was Sakai-san, and so he used to go ahead and get like yokaichi or ichigo, and it'd be sochu, and then he'll pour hot water in with that, and that's what they'll drink during the winter. Of course, so during the summer they'll take sochu, same thing like ichigo or something, and then what they'll do is they'll put in ice cubes with that, squeeze a lemon.
Mhm.
It tastes like lemon water.
Yeah. So there's definitely like distilled rice liquor for like the really hard sake, but like I do a similar as the brewing method. So is it okay if I like go into like brewing science real quick, cuz sake is like
Yeah,
super cool.
I won't understand
Okay.
any of it, but you're more than welcome to. We go into
So-
open discussion and so forth. So
Cool. So with the rice, you put a special fungus on it that turns the starch into sugar, because you make alcohol from the yeast turning sugar into alcohol. With it, when it's just starch, you can't do anything with that. So the fungus is turning the starch into sugar, and the yeast is simultaneously turning that sugar into alcohol, and it's a dual simultaneous fermentation is what I think it's called. It's really cool, and it just continuously goes in the fermentation tank. So I let that one sit in fermentation for a little over a month, and now I'm like going on month 2 that I'm just about to crack open the first unfiltered Nigori. So yeah, it's good.
how many hobbies do you have?
Not enough.
Too many. I am trying bonsai too. So I took some saplings from a tree in my yard and they're in a training pot. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I saw in the chat that you mentioned you also make sushi sometimes.
Yep.
You know how to go ahead and make the nigiri properly?
Yes.
Oh, nice,
So
nice.
you take the nigori fish, and then in your hand, or I'm sorry, wait. Yeah, fish in your hand, and then you put the wasabi on it, and then you roll your ball, and then you pack it down, and then next.
And
Close.
here I
Well, that
can only touch
wasabi in
grass
the
once a week.
U.S. is not real wasabi, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's powder. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a horseradish powder, and
Exactly.
it could be very, very fun whenever you've got a giant bowl and you're mixing it real vigorously, trying to get it done before lunch period. It can really go up your nose.
I was about to say, did you sneeze a lot? Because I sneeze with just like a little ramekin. So.
Oh no, you start coughing, your eyes
Oh,
water
yeah.
up, they start to burn, and then you start coughing.
It's basically like getting mace to the face.
Mhm.
Your pepper spray.
What?
I've
And
had
what's
to do
that
that.
called?
Wasabi?
Horseradish
Oh, yeah.
is legit. Love
I've
it.
had
It
yeah.
will kick you.
I've had that before, yeah. I've gone to get sushi
Not the stuff at
before, and-
Arby's. Hold on. Not the stuff at Arby's called horsey sauce. I mean, that's good too, but that's not the same.
No. Like it came in a little pack from the sushi at the gas station, you know?
Oh, at the gas station. Yeah. All right. Well,
Hey,
remind me not to eat sushi with Chris.
don't knock that stuff. That's the best stuff you can
That's
find.
the only high quality sushi he can get his hands on in his
Oh,
local area.
gotcha.
It's been a long time since I like actually went and had sushi and so forth, but I do like fish, but yeah, it's been like, I don't know, 6 years, 2 states ago.
We
A lot of that's
have
not even
our-
sushi, though, is it? Sorry.
We have our brewmaster. We got our sushi chef. When we have our study GRC in-person meetup, I expect to see some results.
I do
Facts.
crawfish boils, so
There we
All
go.
right,
some
and we got
shrimp
the
and-
crawfish. Corn and
Nice.
potatoes, okay? Corn and potatoes.
Oh, girl, we got carrots. We put asparagus hearts in there. Come on now.
Gotta
Oh,
put some
that's too
andouille in it
fancy.
too.
Yes, sir. I'll do it all day. Let me tell you
Mhm.
about some jambalaya, and we're gonna
Mhm.
cook up
God.
some. Okay, come on now, some hush puppies
I
It's-
don't
for
suck
y'all.
the brains out of heads, though. Sorry.
It's
Gotta do
funny
the third
that
one.
you mentioned gator. Like, I wonder how many people on this panel have had gator before. Is it
I've
just
tried
okay?
it.
So just the 3 of us.
I've
I'm
tried
guessing.
it.
Oh, okay. So more than I thought. Okay, that's fine.
Well, when you have snake, and then you got to eat some bison. I know that Chris has had bison up there in South Dakota.
Yeah, I used to have literally my old neighbor had an entire I don't know what the groups of them are even called, but yeah, they had like 15 or 20 of them. There's a whole history on bison too, especially up here. They almost went extinct. There was only like 100 left, and then now they've been cultivated back. So
Oh, Brexy's
They
got a
raise
good
them
idea.
in
Look at their
Alaska.
sushi alligator.
No, thank you. That does not sound good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I was gonna say, I'm
I'll
glad we're the
pass.
only one.
For Josh EC's question, I don't know. Do you know 8 Benoni?
What's that?
Josh EC asked how the ginger worked on cutting down the wasabi reaction. I have no idea.
The
How the
vinegar?
ginger-
I don't know.
It's probably
Well, the
That
math.
would be my guess.
It's probably math related.
Well, if you have ginger, usually it's a palate cleanser if you're eating sushi, and it's usually pickled off to the side. Yeah, the wasabi is just something that they use a little bit of, especially if you're doing like nigiri. Of course, it's a slice of fish, usually about half an ounce. You take your wasabi, put it there, and then when you're done rolling it, actually in one hand, best technique in my opinion is when you actually put it there, you actually hold it like this, put down your thumb, then you hold it like this, and then you shape it. Done.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
You
I've
know,
never tried that. Now I'm gonna be pretentious and do that. It's like holding your teacup with your pinky out a little bit.
Believe it or not, there is a technique to do it because I mean the thing is, if you have to pump out, a few hundred or close to 1,000 a day, you have to be pretty quick about it.
I bet. Have you guys? Is it more Korean? And I'm asking this because I don't know, but kimchi, is that more Korean than
That's Korean,
Japanese?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is Korean.
Well, that's pretty good too.
Is-
But sorry, never mind.
So 3 of you guys have tried gator up here on the panel. Is it really that good? I kind of feel like without
4.
trying it, I kind of feel like it would be like catfish, for an example.
It tastes like chicken.
Tastes like chicken.
Yeah, it tastes like chicken, but like the consistency somewhere between shrimp and lobster.
Yes. I like that's a wow. That's a good. Yeah. That's a
That's a
great.
good way to put it.
Visual.
I had to describe it many times.
Yeah.
I don't have many friends up here who have tried it.
I mean,
Yes,
there's
it-
rabbit
it
and
has
frog legs and
A
they
more
all
of a frog leg, yeah. It has more of a rubbery texture like you get with a lot of seafood where you have to actually bite it.
It's not very gamey. Like rabbit or deer is gamey usually, depending on how long you actually let it sit in its own blood.
I'm
Well,
not a
sorry, I'm
fan
not
of
trying to get
gamey.
disgusting, but you don't like. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I don't
I'm not a
like
fan of
gamey
gamey.
either. But
Yeah.
if you if
A
you let
lot
it sit
of the
longer,
gamey taste in those meats is proper butchering. You got to take all
Mhm.
the silver flesh off of it. That's where you get the gamey taste from.
Do y'all do that with your ribs too? You got to take a fork to the back of your ribs and take off that sheen.
Yep.
Yes.
I
Sorry, we
use so I take off the lining
Yeah.
and then I take a boning knife and I cut slits in the back of the bone. I don't use a fork.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I go perpendicular to the bone.
Oh, interesting. What does that do for you though?
It just helps the bone fall out a little bit more for me.
Okay.
I mean,
I
like because
gotcha.
it's falling back through that back lining.
Okay.
I think you guys could debut that when we finally have the Study GRC conference.
We'll
Oh
have
yeah,
a
you gotta
cart.
have food. Yeah, if people ain't gonna show up just to talk GRC, they want some food. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they
Hey,
show
I
up
mean,
for the
that-
food. They stay for
Yeah.
the GRC.
There you go. B does got it. Hey,
And
Britt
hey,
is
you know,
legit.
I don't know about
what
all
kind of
that,
budget
but
there is for gator and sushi though. That sounds expensive.
well, I
You
mean,
bring your own gator. BYOG, bring your own
yeah.
gator.
Gator's cheap.
I mean, if we have it somewhere down in the south, we could probably find some out in the wild.
David B is going to be calling us. Yeah, they stopped me at the airport. I don't know why. They're all worried about this gator tail I'm hauling around.
So don't ask
Bad
me why I
story?
know this. Don't ask me why I know this. But
Why?
you can take 2 live lobsters on a plane
So
believe it.
have
carry
you
on?
done
as
it?
your carry-on. No, I haven't done it. But
Emotional
I don't know,
support
like-
animals.
yeah, I guess. And they have to be live. Like in the TSA documentation, it says that they need to be live. But yeah, we were flying to Florida, and my wife was looking through the TSA stuff, and she came across that, so it was super funny.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's
I haven't.
recognized as food.
Yeah, and I haven't seen anybody say that they tried Gator and hated it yet. So even Davey says he likes it.
You know, the interesting one is I saw a video a couple years back by another sushi chef. His name is Hiro, and he lives in Florida, and he actually made sushi and ramen using iguana. Because out in Florida, they're allowed to go ahead and hunt iguana because it's an invasive species and they can eat it.
Oh yeah, down here they love to, especially further south than me, down towards Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Yep, yep, yep.
So that was a really interesting video I watched. So this guy, yeah, he made sushi and ramen out of iguana.
So you made a comment that you worked with Japanese, and you said something. If you've worked, it's because they tend to be perfectionists. Is that kind of where you were headed a little bit? Is that?
No, so if
Oh,
anybody were here in Japanese understand, they have a system when you work with them. It's called a senpai kohai system. And senpai kohai is, you know, in a basic meaning is that if you have somebody that's above you, you know, and they tell you so the way something is, you do not argue. It just is. So I mean, even if the person above you is wrong, you just say okay,
And you do it their way.
and you
damn, that
do it
sounds like
their
the
way.
Otherwise, you're
military.
disrespectful.
That sounds like
Yeah.
the military. It sounds like any job in cybersecurity. Go read the
Yeah,
effing manual.
No, it could be worse than that because talking
yeah.
back is looked down on. I mean, even if you go through a working day, if they say be there by 8, they actually mean be there by 7:30. That's on time. If you're on time at 8, you're late, and if you're late, you're shunned most of the day. So I mean, it's there's really a system that everybody follows, and if you don't follow it, you're gonna have a rough day.
Two things in reference to that too. Number one, like in a previous stream, you talked about how many times you cut yourself. I feel like
Yeah.
that did help prepare you for cybersecurity too, because you know, attention to detail, or you lose digits, might be some motivation there. And then second of all, is that an unwritten rule, or is that the culture itself as an unwritten
It's
rule?
the culture. So, you know, you can even ask Japanese people that they hate the system, but they still abide by the system. And you don't really fully understand it until you've actually been in that system. And so, I mean, when I worked with Japanese people, I mean, one restaurant I worked at for many years off and on, my old the owner spoke no English, so I had to learn to speak and I had to learn to communicate in order to go ahead and be able to work. So that was really interesting time in my life.
Yeah, I don't think many people could say that I had to learn a language for my job. So, were you already a sushi chef at that time, or?
No, so funny thing is how I got into it is one day I just you know I because the thing is growing up in LA, you know, you have a lot of different cultures and so many different things, and so at that time I just so happened to be around a lot of Japanese people, and so I was hanging out with them, you know, seeing what their food was like, and you know, I was just curious, and you know, one day I needed a job really bad, so I knew this one lady, and she goes, "Oh, they're hiring at the restaurant." I was like, do you want to try?" I was like, "It's a job." So I went there, got the job, and then you know, right away they just started putting me to work, and there's this lady called Mitsuko. And Mitsuko, she spoke like English and Japanese very fast and quick, and it was first kind of confusing for me. So I was like, okay, and so they put me as a waiter, and so like I started learning the menu, you know, what's what, and then one day they needed a sushi chef, and this was a ramen izakaya sushi place, and so one day they just needed a chef. I was like, I'll try, and the sushi chef at that time, he just looked at me, he goes, "Can you use a knife?" I'm like, it's a knife, you know. Boy, was I wrong. I learned very quickly there is a right and wrong way to use a knife.
Yeah, I would love to go to Japan and bring back a real Yanagaba because mine is just cheap from Amazon, whatever. But yeah,
Yeah, I have a real unagi. I still have the even my first one. At the time, my
God
yanagi.
bless you.
It's a type of knife. I got yanagis, devil bolchos. I got sentokus. I got quite a few of them. But yeah, I think most expensive knife I had at that time was like $300. That's actually cheap. You
Yeah.
look at some knives. I've seen some knives with blue steel, and they go for $5,000-6,000 easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they last a long time.
Probably a
But
lifetime. Probably
oh,
several lifetimes.
well, I wouldn't say a lifetime because when you sharpen it as much as you did, like my knives, I used to sharpen twice a day by hand with whetstones,
Twice a
and
day. Wow.
twice a day. Yes,
Wow.
because especially
I
when
sharpen like once a year.
well, I mean, yeah, I think I was using those knives
Yeah.
every day, 12, 14 hours a day. And so I'd made sure every morning when I got in, I sharpened my knives. And then in between lunchtime, I sharpened my knives again. And
Wow.
then by the end of the night, I made sure they're super clean. So that way I can sharpen them again in the morning.
Wow.
Wow.
You said blue steel. You know where my head went, right?
No,
Name the movie.
blue
That,
steel.
that Hansel's so hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lost. This got
Uh,
over my head.
Oh,
Oh
Zoolander.
gosh.
You had
Oh,
Zoolander.
only just pulled
I was
a
making the face
Chris.
over here.
Yeah, I saw it. I'm trying to finish up dishes. That's why I don't have my camera on. And
It's
I'm muting
all the
myself.
same face. I feel
Yes.
like I'm taking crazy pills.
It's a place for people's are they in the computer? Anyway, sorry.
but I will say this though, working with Japanese people though, I did learn a lot. I learned a lot, especially about discipline, and I learned a lot about, a lot of different things. I mean, I think that was a big part of my life where it really shaped to a lot of who I am today. So I will say that much. That much good came out of it.
That
Um,
sounds like a really good presentation. What I learned from being a
Being
chef
a
for
sushi
And how I
cybersecurity.
apply it today.
Yeah, communication, discipline, teamwork, you know.
sushi
It's
Yeah,
chef
Yeah.
to
so
cybersecurity. My
sounds
journey.
like
well,
sounds like I
the
need to get with both 8-bit and Bruising Hacks after this stream to
well,
schedule the next videos.
I will tell you the biggest lesson actually that came out of it. You said communication. Unfortunately, Japanese are not very good at communication.
Don't
But
ask questions.
well, they don't really want you asking questions.
Mm,
If you do, it better be a damn good one.
mm.
But what I learned from them actually is a cultural thing where you learn how to watch. And so somebody made, what do you mean by that? So I remember like I worked at this one restaurant, it's Katsuya down in Studio City, and for like the first year, all I was doing washing rice, cutting vegetables, and making sauces. And the thing is, I started learning. I was like, why don't you guys just show me how to do this? Well, they just say, no, just show me, like preparation, show me. I was like, okay, whatever, and I started watching, and then I realized what they're trying to tell me when I saw the head chef right next to me. I remember I'm prepping a whole bunch of things, and then I saw the ticket comes in, and he needed a plate done, right? So that way he can start putting all the protein, like the fish and everything. Like let's say it's a sashimi plate, for example. And I was like, well, I've seen it 100 times. I was like, I'll just go ahead and put all the vegetables on the plate for him and give him the plate. It's little things like that when you start actually recognizing things going forward, or recognizing patterns, or you start seeing like what's the need of somebody else, and you just step in and jump in, and then you're just like, hey, I got this part, and without somebody telling me, but I've seen it, and I'm like, well, I can do that. And then they start giving you more and more responsibilities. Maybe you're making tempura at the fry, maybe you're making tamago sushi. They start giving you fish. They'll see whether or not you can do a roll. If you can handle the rice, can you make the rice? And then eventually it starts stepping up, 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 and up. But yeah, I had to earn the title chef. They won't just tell you you're a chef. You had to earn it. And
So
over the
For
years,
for for those who have never made sushi, other than sashimi, the rice is the most important part. You need to get that rice dressing right. You need to get the rice cooked perfectly. And if anybody heard 8-bit talking about rinsing the rice and was like, what? You rinse rice? Yeah, you got to get all the bad starch out so you don't make stinky rice.
Well, yes, washing the rice is very important because I taught my kids how to wash rice properly, and how to fluff it properly, and how it's actually kind of funny because my wife's from Thailand. I've had to tell her like, hey, you're doing this wrong, and she's like, eh.
You're a brave soul. Brave soul.
Well, the
Oh
thing is, she
God,
knows I'm right, and I'm just like, no, but that's a whole nother
that doesn't
story.
matter.
Well,
I'm
that kind
in
of ties into we have
happily married for 8 years.
Oh no, I've been married 16 at the end of the year, 17 years.
Nice.
Yeah,
Congrats.
I've been with her for 19 years, maybe 18, 19 years. So
Nice.
that kind of goes
Maybe.
into the the two ears and the one mouth, right? Like we listen, we have two ears for a reason, and hence the two eyes while you were actively watching. I think Cam brought up a good point there about the active watching, and Brexy's point too that you just had up there. But yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
definitely
Well,
it,
and this
it,
is where I was going to go with this
Indeed.
too.
Indeed,
Is
Cam.
we're talking a little bit on the pre-information security aspect, and what I was actually going to look at doing here is just to ask everyone around the room, like, what's a transferable skill that's assisted you in the industry? I mean, you're
well,
dropping like dozens of facts here, and that's where I was going with it, is those transferable skills.
yeah, no, absolutely. There was a lot there, and one thing I'll say in tech that everybody can actually relate to, and this comes in the same way of just watching, observing, and doing and learning, is that a lot of times, and any tech person will tell you that when somebody asks a question, they're going to ask you, well, what have you done? And when you answer like, hey, I did A, B, C, and D, and I'm hitting a wall and I have no idea where else to look, they'll give you all the answers in the world, right? But in tech, they won't really tell you anything if you haven't put in any of your footwork. I wish it was a little bit more like that. And when I was a chef, when I got a little better, they started showing me some things here and there. But in the beginning, they wouldn't tell me anything. They're like, figure it out. Like, kind of just threw me in the deep end.
that's but anytime you walk into a room and they say if you're the smartest person in the room, you should find a different room, right? And I think that's for a reason, to the point where many different reasons. But if you walk into that next room, what are you doing if you're not the smartest person? You're listening, right? And people who take the time to listen, and there's been a lot of people that were like, what was that show called, Undercover Boss or whatever? A lot of
Yeah,
that was just about listening to their employees, and when they got the hint of what the hell they weren't seeing because they're up in California and New York, wherever their office is, and then they got to actually put their hands in and work with these people. I know a lot of that was probably scripted. I get it, whatever. But to some degree, it was real, um, and people, bought into it. But if they really did make a change because they saw what's going on below, so I just think that's a really great idea to don't, even if you do know more than anybody in that call or on that call that you got to have at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning or whatever. Maybe just sit there and listen and see how many people wait for you to speak. That's something also.
well, that's
You could
that's where
always
my
pull up
skill.
PBO, hide in the corner,
Well,
and hope nobody asks you for you.
Oh, I thought you
that,
meant
that
like
was,
just go in there throat punching people like
No, that's when they call upon him. Because if they do
Oh.
call upon PBO, then he starts to throat punching after he's got the facts.
You learned rice needs to be washed now? You didn't know that? You like the dirty rice. Dirty rice doesn't
Two
mean
of
it's
my
dirty,
worst,
okay?
two of the things
Ron,
I hate the most in life is math and cooking, and then third would probably be grass. Grass might be second place. I hate
Chris.
all of that.
Oh no.
I
So
eat to survive. That's it.
Do you like ice cream?
Sometimes.
Oh, don't, you're
Cooking was my
lying.
first therapy for my anxiety. That was my first therapy for my anxiety. I love cooking.
I don't like cooking either.
NIST is
I
my
read.
therapy now.
I like cooking for others more than I like cooking for myself.
I
this
don't
is
like cooking for myself or for others.
Nope. I
And
want
the
others
bad
to
thing
cook for
is
me.
I'm good at it, so
You see, this
I
is
like
gonna
to
sound
eat.
funny because what's soothing to me is actually the knife hitting the cutting board. Because the thing is, after a couple years of doing it, I remember one time I got so good at it that I can literally chop an onion paper thin without looking at it. And then I just remember I was at my station, and there was a TV in the corner at one restaurant I was working at. And I was just watching TV while chopping onion, doing this. And at first, my boss thought I was just watching TV, and he was about to yell at me. He comes right around. He's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Huh? Oh yeah, I'm working." But that sound of the knife on the cutting board, it makes me very calm sometimes because it just brings me back to that.
I'm surprised you have all your fingers still.
Oh, trust me, I've had some
Like
bad
nubbins.
cuts. I've had some really bad cuts.
This is
But you still have all
exactly
your
my
fingers.
point.
Yeah, I do. I know some chefs that don't, though.
Oh god.
Seriously.
I know
That-
some
that
aircraft
actually
mechanics
worries
that
me.
don't.
Yeah, that always worries me because like I don't have the best typing skills, but it's still not bad. And like if I ever lose a finger, I think about like how difficult would it be to learn to type again properly.
I mean, I broke my hand once, and that was pretty difficult. So
I
Hunting
think
cat.
to Ryan's point, all the PLC and everything, and 8-bit's point of listening, it all really ties back, to the presentation, but it all ties together on not just cybersecurity, but any job that you're going for is, you need to listen, pay attention, learn as much as you can, be patient, uh, pick up on the logic, and learn to communicate. If you can't do that in life in general, gosh, I feel sorry for you, and let's have a talk and try to help you, maybe possibly. Not a therapist, not a lawyer, not a doctor. Chris, put up that disclaimer,
so-
please.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're supposed to do the lead with the disclaimer. I learned that the hard way. You always present that first. Well, and also like Cam throws out here, like he'd take a pill for daily nutrition. I would 100% be on board with that. But
I would too.
He also leads with he follows that up with that he does love the human connection aspect of a shared meal though. And so this is a really awesome book, The Art of Community. And the author of this book here, that's actually how he originally got into it, is when he went to college, he just started like having like every weekend he'd have meals and he'd just invite new people over. Like he'd go to class and be like, "Hey, you want to come over?" And he'd just start sharing meals. And like over his years at college, he ended up connecting with like thousands of people, many of which he still talks to like often. And
That's really cool.
yeah, and then later on in life, he went through and started like actually assisting with building community in large enterprises and the human aspect as well, like Twitch and some of the different like Fortune 100.
You see, though, this is what's very interesting. The reason why, like, a lot of, especially in the tech community, right? There's always meetups and stuff, and people always ask, like, how to start up a conversation. And, I always tell people, you don't have to, but I always tell people, like, the best conversation starter, in my opinion, is about food because there's always a cultural aspect to it. There's always some sort of community or feeling to it. Like, and again, for me, growing up around so many different cultures and foods, it's very easy for me, because like if I go to somebody, say from Thailand, like my wife, I can talk about Thai food, and people, especially in America, like, oh, you know what that dish is? Oh, this and that, and or if you talk to somebody that's from a different region of even the United States, if you're from LA, Chicago, New York, or from the countryside, you can strike up certain like food conversations. And if you don't know, it'd be like, hey, what's the food like? Hey, where you're from? What did you eat growing up? And you can always strike up interesting conversations, and it can always roll into something else.
Unless it's me.
No,
Well,
no.
everyone
even
has to
you.
eat, right? Everyone has to eat.
Yes, everybody has to eat, and so that's what it is. It's like we all went into sake and sushi. I could talk. The foods I make most is Vietnamese, Thai, and Japanese food. But I grew up around a lot of other ones. Like I can talk about, when I was after school, when I was done with after school, my mother used to go down to an Armenian market, and I used to get a big old loaf of like pori bread all the time. Or we go to like other markets where we have like lamashu, or I used to go to like the Thai Vietnamese markets, and we'd get all kinds of different ingredients. And so I mean, all the varieties and stuff like that. So it's always fun to talk about.
Well, and also going along the lines of this is so our presentation next week, the first 2 weeks of every month for our primary sessions, we have speakers, and next week is with cyber research for Go Make a Friend. That was like his entire thing, because like he talked a little bit before about how he like isolated himself, and then more recently he started going to conferences and communicating with the industry more. And there's tons of benefits that coincide with that. And he'll be presenting about that on like Go Make a Friend and some of the different ways, like how it's worked out for him, which closely aligns with all of that.
Yeah, it's any way to, you know, to grow that, you know, your
To break
base
the
of
ice
community. Yeah. Well, I mean,
in the
breaking the
beginning.
ice.
Yeah.
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 You know, I mean, for me personally, like I said, you know, it's how I got into Japanese food, where I was just curious about somebody else's culture, and I was like, oh, how is that like? What's, you know, what do you guys eat? And you know, and the thing is, sometimes people love talking about themselves too, right? And the thing is, it's like when you start getting that, you're going to gain another friend, you're going to gain some new knowledge, and you know, who knows, something else can come out of that, whether it's a mutual connection that is. That's professional, or you know, they'll know somebody else down the line where, you know, you can just end up growing your base.
Yeah.
Wait, where's
or, you
Ryan
know,
at
like,
that he has a fire behind him?
he's on fire.
It's fake.
Okay, I was about to say, where in the heck are you in this world right now that you need to have a fire?
Nah, it's
It's
fake.
not putting
It's
out
just
heat,
no,
right?
no. It's
Okay.
just a light.
I would like to drink a beer with you right now too, but I have to work early in the morning. Sad face.
I would drink a little bit of whiskey, but it's still a little too early.
Yeah, and also along with
It's
that,
never too early
point that
for
you were
whiskey.
I like the way she thinks.
I was going to give an example, like me talking to 8-Bit. I just ask him how many watch lists he thinks he's on for running his own, you know, cloud service provider at home. So, you know, there's that.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten banned from anything like, or accounts kicked out like Chris has.
He calls it the sushi cloud.
I'm waiting for Discord to require photo ID verification, and then I'll be over there on Revolt. So, yeah, I put a little notice in Discord because, yeah, it's going to happen eventually, probably, with everything that's going on. So, yeah. That's probably going to be, we might do a special stream just on that, actually.
On KYC? KY, well, I was going to say KYB,
that's,
but you get
they
my
have
point.
that in the actual text as well, especially in the EU. But yes, Switzerland is now trying to push for a surveillance state that would require them to be able to decrypt your data. Proton has halted all of the investments in the country, and now they're relocating their hardware over into the EU. But then we have the issue because then the EU is now requiring ID verification. And it's just getting worse and worse. But then also, if you look back in the past, the EU has already had 3 separate attempts to get rid of encryption. And look at what they did to Apple. They required Apple to remove the encryption or be able to decrypt your data in the cloud. Which is weird because, like, I was looking more into it. And so they did that to Apple, but not Google or Microsoft. So, yeah, there's actually a whole conspiracy theory with that portion because they're like, well, Google and Microsoft hasn't disclosed it, but the EU has been known over the last like 7 years to be trying to backdoor everything. So then there's a whole landscape with that because now Proton's looking at moving to the EU, but then the EU is trying to get rid of encryption too. And,
Well, a shit ton of these politicians don't know what they're doing when they. What was the story today about NVIDIA and just trying to see, like, we need to be able to access or shut it down. Wait, what?
Well,
if you have access, you don't think somebody else? Or come on now.
Well, and so, like, in my state of North Dakota, they also just passed on August 1st, it went into effect for photo ID for adult websites and content and so forth. But the thing that surprises me is that there was 0 nays for that, but they don't understand the underlying technology. So I actually sent an email, a heavily worded email to my representatives, and I was outlining the fact of, like, this is worse for online privacy and security, because what are people going to do? They're going to find the cheapest or free VPN that they can get around the blocks, which is going to just decrease their privacy and security. And yeah, it's ineffective, and they don't understand the technology behind it. But
they have that here in Florida too.
Yeah,
I wrote my representative. I said, I want to watch what I want to watch. Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, and if you look at it, it's kind of interesting because also Wayland on Linux had a similar situation where it rolled out like across the board to all the major distros like in a 2-week period. Very odd for that to happen in like the open source space of like Linux, for an example. But it's the same thing with this ID verification and facial recognition. Is all of this stuff happening in the EU, 5 or more states in the US. You have these issues happening in Switzerland, like all within the same time period. I don't have my tinfoil hat handy, but I'm just saying.
I think you put it into the news cycle so it gets buried with everybody else's possibly too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hear you, Chris. We can go deep into conspiracy theories.
I mean, 1 out of 5 people know who Snowden is.
He still lives in Russia, right?
Yes. Last I checked.
See, Putin should so Trump goes and talks to Putin, and here Putin with Snowden, like, here you go, buddy. Oh man, war's over, son of a. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, so what about real quick? Does anybody use Ubuntu, the newer version, for production? Because I just had a client today tell me that it's auto patching and things, and we have to we're probably going to have to revert back or
Ubuntu Pro.
Yeah, or whatever it was. I thought he said it was the 24 whatever LTS, but has anybody else ran into? But the point that they're auto updating is what I'm saying. So no, okay.
No,
well, they were just.
But I'm also not in a space where I'm consulting on sysadmin stuff. So
No, this was for the. Well, yeah, I hear you, but he was talking about it from the point of the application and the production side of it. Like, yeah, they have their designated times that they do these things. However, not when it's auto updating, and they're like, "Oh, wait, so now we're down for a minute now."
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that aspect. I did look at like Ubuntu Pro, which has like live patch updates, and like I was looking into that a couple months back, and it's made for the enterprise, like for running your servers and so forth. But of course, there's still that security aspect because it's just auto patching everything, and especially for critical systems, like maybe you and the security side of it.
Well, not even just the security side of it, but the money-making side of it. Yeah, if you go down.
Yeah, if it tears down production for sure.
Like that, was it CrowdStrike update?
Yeah.
Well, bye-bye kernel access, son of a gun. Hello, Windows Defender. I'm the only one left that has kernel access to Windows.
So it looks like 8-Bit and Brews and Hacks are going to be doing, a how-to stream on brewing and sticky rice.
Totally down.
Can I bring can I be?
Go ahead.
I got pickling. Can I bring in pickling? We can pickle. I
do that too. I do that too.
Yeah. I got my new best friend over here.
8-Bit. I actually have footage on how I make sake. I just haven't published it for YouTube. And like I said, I'll do it private, with links on.
I'll need that link. Link. Yeah.
Yes, I will share it with you all. Yes. But what was the question, 8-Bit?
Oh no, because I was hearing you earlier that you use when you're brewing, do you use koji for it, or when you're brewing?
Yes.
Gotcha. Yes. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So you steam and then you koji for. I do it for between 30 and 40 hours, and then it goes in the fermenter. And then I just use I was about to say champagne. It's not champagne. It's the other one, wine yeast. I don't know, but whatever. It's the dry white wine. I don't know.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah.
Chardonnay.
Yes, Chardonnay. That's the one. That's the yeast. Yeah.
You should try Riesling. Make it a little sweeter.
I did, and it didn't turn out good.
Oh, darn.
It wasn't good. Yeah. It wasn't Riesling. It was another balanced one. It was what they use for Pinot Grigio, and yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah, so brewing would be something that I wouldn't mind learning more of. Like one of the projects I would love to do. I've seen where people take smaller wooden barrels and then they'll go ahead and just put like any kind of spirit in there, and then to let the barrel go ahead and flavor it. But I mean, I don't know enough about brewing, but that is something that I'm definitely interested in, like brewing my own homemade whiskey or something like that. Now I know in most places it's illegal to do in the U.S., but I heard recently in the state of Texas that they opened it up for a little bit if you do small batches for personal use.
I don't know if, or at least it's not illegal to do in Maryland. So
You're gonna take up your whole garage, buddy. That's what's gonna happen. Your whole garage is gonna turn into
a distill is big. It's big.
I've seen
None of
a
us
few
are
smaller
lawyers.
ones. Huh?
I said none of us are lawyers.
Disclaimer. Disclaimer.
I heard. So like somebody that I knew years back, they were in California and they brewed and so forth, and apparently there was like legal restrictions on that based
There
on
is.
how much they could brew.
Yeah.
So it was something like that you could brew up to 7 gallons at a time or something. They never had an issue.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
California's got a lot of restrictions. A lot of
For everything.
Yes, everything. I mean,
Yeah, I think they were using 55-gallon like old winery barrels at the time, and then like they talked to somebody and they're like, "Dude, don't do that." They never had an issue though, but yeah.
Well, you don't have an issue until somebody complains about it, and then
Till the
you got-
nosy Nancy. Yep.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of those everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Karens.
Sorry, is my age showing?
No, hey, I agree with you there. It's just one of those things
They
where
were Nancy's before they were Karens.
well, it only takes
negative Nancy's, right?
It only takes one or two to go ahead and spoil it for everyone.
All right, I know it's not the best, but I see Ryan over there partaking. I just take a little gentleman jack, just a smidge,
Hey.
a smidge.
I hope it's okay that I'm enjoying a beer. Like it's at least for me, it's almost 9 p.m. So
You guys
this
are
is my
tempting me to
wind
go
down
get-
time.
You guys are tempting me to go get my Irish whiskey now.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
you guys are over here drinking. You got a Hawaiian shirt on and everything else. Come on, this is supposed to be professional, people. No.
Like, are we on vacation or?
I am.
Yeah.
Always.
Hey, real quick, two out of the 6 people on here right now have been on with Charles and had a good show. Good job, both of y'all. With old Charles oh gosh, why can't I say his last name?
Wow.
McQuiggan?
Oh, James
McQuiggan. James, why'd I call him Charles? Ah!
I was
Must have
like,
already
who-
had a couple of these. Sorry, I meant
I
to
was
say
like,
James.
who's Charles? And what-
Charles in charge. You
That
know.
was my thing. I knew what you were talking about, but I was like, where is he going with this?
Adios,
was
mio.
really confused.
Adios, mio.
Man, that show was really
Yeah.
fun to do. It sucked that like I recorded it so many months ago and it came out now, but it was so much fun.
Yeah,
This
Yeah,
is,
I agree.
This
It
is too
was-
true, the pain.
it was a blast to record, but being that it was a few months ago, so many things have changed too since
Yeah.
I recorded it. But yeah, it was a good time.
So he
I
really
remember-
front loaded all of his episodes then, I guess. Huh?
Yes. Yeah.
That's the
So-
smart way.
When mine was premiering, Kathy Chambers said, "Wow, that's so detailed on the sandwich," and I was like, "I might have been hungry while I was recording."
Not at all.
Yeah, you were talking all about the CISSP class, but hey, it's talking about the front loading of the scenes and everything that Chris just said about the 60 days in GRC. That's just crazy. I mean, hey, again, more power to you for y'all all getting your stuff up and started. I'm slacking. I know. So sorry.
Hey, just so you and everybody else also knows, we did start up the accountabilities channel in Discord. So, yeah, you're
Yeah,
more
I've
than
been
welcome to utilize that.
I've been slacking there too.
We have Cam over here, who's I don't even know what would be the proper term. I don't want to paint him in the wrong light here, but I would definitely say he's been on top of it.
He's
so
like-
I don't have unfortunately I don't
He's
have
the
gifts right
cheerleader.
here, but you guys
Yeah.
know from like Sparta, the 300, where like the god or whatever else from Persia starts walking down the steps. Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah, he's
Right
like
before he
the
loses his hand.
it's like the channel
What
cheerleader.
is it? King Darius or something? Is that his name?
I don't
Xerxes.
know.
Xerxes.
Tell
Xerxes.
There you
me,
go.
tell me about this accountabilities channel. I am not familiar.
So just recently, we had a recommendation, some feedback for a accountabilities channel. I've seen accountabilities channels in other Discords, and it only really works if you get a group of people who actually use it. And basically the way that it's supposed to function is you put in, like, what are your daily goals or your weekly goals, and then you follow back up with that and say, hey, this is what I got done. And then you can also help keep other people in check and be like, hey, how's this project going that you mentioned? Or how is this coming along? And try to have like just that aspect of putting it out there in public view, and then also helping keep each other in check. Or if people need help, like maybe you come across somebody who's studying the same thing, and so forth.
That is a really great thing to have. I won't be there. Sorry.
Hey,
I'm
I am
really not
right
good
on
with
the
goals.
same page.
But that's a really cool thing to have. I'm very glad that
It works
it's
for
helping
some people.
Yeah, I'm very glad that it's helping.
There you guys go. I was gonna get my Irish whiskey, but I got 1792 instead, which is a Kentucky bourbon at 125 proof.
Mm-hmm.
So about 62% alcohol.
62
64.
and a half.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's if you guys
Kia
are
ora.
still sticking in here and so forth, you guys can definitely probably tell that tonight's going to get a little interesting.
No, I have to
now,
go soon. I'm not going to be interesting.
Right. Yeah, not on live stream at least.
My
David's going to
wife.
be up in the Discord chat. We're going to be like, what the hell are you talking about?
My wife just told me a package arrived, and it's see, I have a racing wheel, a Logitech racing wheel, and I decided to go ahead and get something to mount it on top for everything else, so my kids can play Forza and stuff. So it just arrived, and my wife's like, "Oh, it's arrived." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I decided, hey, you know, my oldest son, I'm starting to teach him to drive. It's probably a good way so he can learn like 1 foot on the gas, 1 foot on the brake, and you know, luckily the wheel I have has force feedback and stuff like that, and so you know, just give him a little.
What if he doesn't
customer
have paddle shifting clutches? Come on now, 8-bit. I mean, seriously, right?
Luckily,
so
it's
we do
automatic.
typically keep. Yeah, and we usually do keep these to about 2 hours, so we could actually start going through our usual last remarks. What about you, Brews and Hacks? What's your final last remarks? And then also to add to it, if you want to additionally include one transferable skill from your previous life.
I'm
Or
glad
one
he
of your
started with
hobbies.
you. I'm glad he started
Yeah.
with you.
I need to simmer on this for a minute. So, transferable skill from a previous life. Yeah, no, I think that I kind of hit my bread and butter on the presentation was that breaking complex things down for a non-technical audience is one of the best skills that you can have, especially in this field. So, I will hold on to that as my transferable skill. In closing remarks, thanks so much for having me. It was awesome being here live on a Thursday. I hope I can do it more often. Just Thursdays don't work out well for me. So, but I do hope to join you all again and keep me posted on the Study GRC meetup. I'd love to be a part of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think during our last State of Study GRC, it was brought up to actually do a conference. There's only a couple GRC conferences out there. It is like 95% chance that it's going to be virtual the first year, just because of like cost and coordination and so forth.
And
But,
the spread. Everybody is everywhere, right? Like you're towards the West Coast, right?
Oh, I thought you meant
I'm North
food.
Dakota.
I heard.
Oh, you're North Dakota. 8-bit. Yeah, 8-bit is on West Coast. I'm on East Coast.
Actually, I'm central now. I mean, I used.
Oh, you're central now.
Yeah. I moved out of LA about 3-4 years ago.
Best decision you ever made. Sorry.
Hands down.
Yeah.
I now live in a much better state.
Yeah. Well, and then, yeah, and it's awesome to have you. I mean, even if it was, clickbait, let's talk about math. But yeah, and then 8-bit, what about you? Final last remarks and a transferable skill?
Well, I think I talked about some transferable skills already. I mean, there's a lot more, but I think those are probably
steal it before we get to David.
Yeah. But last remarks is just, put yourself out there, I guess, like we talked about, whether you talk about something that's not related, break the ice, get yourself out there, make some friends, and just keep an open mind and watch and observe, so that, I guess, those would be my closing marks right there. And learn as much as you can.
What about you, B-dubs?
Well, first of all, I'm disappointed about the clickbait. I came here for the math. Yeah, so there's that.
There's a dislike.
Fair,
Yeah,
fair.
dislike. Transferable skills. I mean, as someone with an actual math background, I'm still going to say problem solving, and not just solving problems, but using that to figure out life's problems, whether that's in your career or personal life, and thinking outside of the box. I started building that skill really young and have used it in every single career since then, and I have had quite a few careers. So yeah, that's gonna be mine.
Damn.
Perfect.
What about you, Rania?
I would say just adaptability, being able to take any situation and work with it. Like, just because it's a problem or something different doesn't mean you have to give up or quit. It's okay to take a step back and reassess, but learning some adaptability is a great skill that you can take anywhere.
Damn. Yeah, and then David's over here like sweating like, they took everything I had. What am I supposed to do?
I was just about
now?
to say adapt and overcome, but dang, she goes right into it. So let me pivot really quick. Oh, there we go. Speaking of adapting, pivoting. No. So being willing to not just let the world bypass you because you're stuck in your ways. So being that flexible and that adaptable, but not to parlay into that too much. But I think something that being open to communication, but listening and being quiet sometimes, whether you believe it or not, I actually can do that sometimes. And I had to do that in the past. And it goes a long way because you pick up so many different things. You can learn more about the person, and you can learn more about your boss, the team, all that just by listening. And then next thing you know, you become a valuable resource because you made it personal in a good way to them, and then they come back to you and they trust you. You know what I mean? Yes, I know I'm not the perfect at names. I've proven that. Sorry, Charles McQuicken, but that's his brother. But anyways, I did want to say a closing remark. Uh, I'm not promoting this particular brand. I like it, but Stoicism philosophy is my biggest thing right now. But journaling is where I was going to go. If people on here are having any problems or whatever, sometimes just writing it down. Nobody needs to see it but you. Just writing down your thoughts can help you get rid of possible anxiety or other things like that. And then just, what I like to do is I do this daily, twice a day, and then I have old books over there. So if I'm really interested, like, oh, I wrote this. Did I write this last year? I'll go over there and look at that and say, oh, it was something different. So, write an email to yourself. There you go. Yeah, something like that you can keep track of, I think goes a long way to help you with different issues. So hope everybody's doing well out there, and thank you again for having me.
Could I just add to that real quick? Because one thing really stood out for what you said. It's about the journey. A lot of people. The only thing I want to add to that is that everybody's always thinking about the end and not the journey. It's about actually, and I forget about this all the time because I'm always wanting the end result. You have to realize the journey to get there. You have to enjoy that aspect of it as well.
We can add things. I want to add things.
Yes, you're welcome to add.
Sorry, that's it for me.
Oh, I gotta add on to that then, because if it was about the destination, then a concert we would all just go to hear one crashing chord. It's about the music. It's about the dance. It's the journey.
Bam. Yeah, and that's also like a great ad to position the Coffee with the Mafia, because David over here is one of the volunteers that's included with that for the Coffee with the Mafia. Completely $0, no cost. We want nothing in exchange. Really easy process. You select your time based on the availability that's shown, and you can book a one-on-one, whether that be road mapping, resume assistance, mock interviewing, if you just want to have a coffee chat with somebody. So yeah, bam.
You all will be hearing from me for Coffee with the Mafia.
Oh
Just
gosh.
like, heads up.
I'm looking
Next
forward to
whole
it.
week's booked
I
out.
need lots of things. I need lots of help.
I got you.
Brews and Hacks is the first one showing up for changing it from Coffee with the Mafia to Drinking with the Mafia.
No, I will have coffee. I will have coffee. It's fine.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
It
what I
might-
always said was
It
in my
might have some
thermos, too.
Jameson in it. It might have just
Yeah.
I was about to say there's probably coffee in it, but
You know, that just kind of reminds me because my father's from Ireland. He used to complain about my grandmother's coffee because apparently she made it too strong.
Yeah, my grandfather, like, he was almost 100% Irish, and he always had Bushmills. Like, he actually, like, at my parents' wedding, he actually got in trouble. Like, police, like, questioned him because he was, like, walking around with, like, a bottle. And they're like, dude,
Bushmills
this
is
is,
good.
like, a public park. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, yeah.
Bushmills is good. I like Bushmills.
Yeah. But yeah, and then like for me, I mean, it's just awesome to get everybody together every week, and then awesome discussions. So, you know, not much more to add to that other than the fact that I'm really glad that it wasn't really about math. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. You know, reasoning and, you know, communication and so forth is way easier to talk about than math. But and then also like a transferable skill, like you guys already stole a lot of it, but probably like one thing that I'm really happy about is like the business side of things. That's what I'm really weak in, is the business side, and especially in GRC, that's super important. And so like I worked in sales and then also as a pawnbroker and so forth, and I got more insight into like business objectives. Like, we're here to make money, markups, working with clientele and so forth. I also worked for like an aluminum extrusion company that, you know, I was in charge of a client list. And from that business to business aspect, I think really kind of helps me along on this track. And then also like my mother was a manager for an organization as well that I was practically raised in. So those kind of help make the transition a little bit easier to upskill in this business side of the industry. So
for sure.
Because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to is, you know, what are the objectives for the business itself?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but every business must have though is people. So learning those people skills.
I don't know. GPT-5 just came out.
I just mean like, but still somebody has to use it, right? Or else it's not valuable. So my point is not just the people that work there, but the people that buy things too, right? So the economy runs on that. So learning how to talk to people goes a long way.
it's part of the PLC.
Yeah.
That's right, girl.
Learning math.
I just see programmable logic controller when he says that though. Every time I'm just like,
yeah. That's why I had that slide there and at the end with not
okay.
industrial control systems.
Okay, I missed that
Googled
part.
it because I was curious if this was a legit thing already. Like I was looking for diagrams and so forth.
Nope, programmable logic controllers.
Yeah. But
Words
yeah,
are
thank you guys for
hard, as
hopping up.
B-Dub says. Sorry.
Oh, you can't see it.
Oh no, you're fine.
Boom, right there.
Not industrial control system. Yeah.
Leave that there for everybody because I hope that everybody finds something like this. So that's a good thing to leave everybody with.
Was there anything else that you guys want to add before we bring it to the end?
Have a great night, everyone. Or day, wherever you are.
Mm-hmm.
David's always going to have the last word here.
No, you got it. See ya.
All right. Thank you guys for popping up here on the panel. Thank you guys for joining us in chat and all of the awesome questions throughout. Catch you guys in the Discord. Don't forget about that GRC Coffee with the Mafia program there too. Anybody is welcome to utilize that, whether you're in the field, out of the field. not even looking at the field and so forth as well. It's all about community aspect and making a more secure future for everybody. Yeah, you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll also catch you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central for our Friday AMA. You guys have a great rest of the night. GRC Mafia.
GRC Mafia. Kia ora, everybody.
Want to actually learn cloud security? And I mean, not just pass the test, but actually learn how to defend and attack real environments? Cyber's one-click labs let you exploit real AWS Lambda functions, escalate IAM privileges, and respond to incidents in live environments. You'll learn how to securely configure cloud resources, create your own custom incident response playbooks, and learn how to pen test cloud infrastructure to find real vulnerabilities before attackers do. Visit cyber.com to join thousands of cloud security practitioners and a growing community, and start your first hands-on lab for free today. Or use coupon code StudyGRC for 10% off our premium memberships. That's cybr.com.
Do you love cybersecurity and GRC? Do you like analogies stretched further than my hairline? Then do I have a channel for you. Hi, my name is Cameron, also known as Cam, and I want to invite you to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Cam Goddess, where I dive into various topics, frameworks, terms, and foundational knowledge within the broad categories of cybersecurity and GRC. I'm passionate about these things and about taking complex concepts and making them more easily understandable, more easily defined. Everyone is a nerd about something, so come, nerd, learn,